And we are live. It is Saturday night, the 12th of September in my world, and now officially the 13th of September in Ken's world. Welcome to the Ken and Glenn Show. I was re-enjoying it.
Did you share it out?
Well, that's why I was re-enjoying it.
So Jose Garza already shared. Wendy Futrell 4 is on. Do you remember what Wendy is best known for, Glenn?
Well, you got to tell me.
She was the very first one to comment
about the video.
Yeah.
Right. Wendy is our first video appreciator. Sterling Horning, go Dallas Stars. Did they win it? Are they going for the Stanley Cup now, Sterling, or are they just ahead in the series? I have not watched.
The series has only been going on a couple of days, hasn't it?
Yeah, I know, but he put it in all caps, so it makes it sound like maybe.
Wasn't it 7 games? Did they play 7 games in 2 days?
No. They would have started last Sunday, I think, because that's when Scott was watching the show.
Oh, look. Sterling said they're 1 win away.
One win away, and then they go.
Jeff Christensen says, hello, Glenn Morshower and Ken.
Well, hello, Jeff.
Hey, Jeff.
Nice to see you, brother.
There's Jose Garza, Larry Schneider,
Kellen, while I continue sharing out, my brother.
Kellen is on. What's up, Kellen?
Good evening, Curtis Heidel.
Curtis Heidel is in the house.
More people coming in.
So
in droves, Ken. In droves on this Saturday night. You know what that brings me to, Ken, and maybe you'll join me. And doon 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 doon. Doon 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 doon. I can't do it. We thought we would discuss with you guys this evening many topics, and one of them that we kind of got aroused about, I think is aroused is the correct word, Ken.
You might be going out on a limb on that one.
Is that a little too much?
You may have.
Yeah.
I am in Malibu at my beach home right now, and you're in Dallas, so I had no evidence of that. So yeah. Okay, Jeff says you visited his radio show at ABC Radio when you were on 24.
That is correct.
Wow.
That is correct.
Well, I didn't get invited to ABC Radio.
The surname he goes by on the radio.
What's that?
So I said he even has a surname he goes by on the radio, but I won't divulge that, and he can do that if he wishes, because I don't know if he goes by that.
Eric Cornelius is leaving.
He's leaving. But the nice thing is he appears to be upset about it. Do you see the emotion of the child?
Yes.
He's very upset about leaving.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, see, there it is, Jay Fox.
Jay Fox. I don't remember ever being invited to that party, but maybe I missed it.
This is before you and I knew each other. This was back in the day.
I'm totally kidding.
Back in the day.
So does Jeff, are you still on ABC Radio?
Yeah, he'll let us know. It's good to see you here, brother.
Yeah, thanks for being
here. Many, many years.
And we have a famous radio DJ on with us tonight. That's
and
insane.
We also have one on with us every Sunday. There's Doug Wing.
Doug Wing, my brother. How you doing?
Howdy out to Utah. So Ken,
no, Westwood 1 now. Oh, it's Westwood 1.
Are you still out of Dallas?
Wow.
Jeff, are you in the Dallas area? Because I moved. I love Jeff on Magnum PI. Eric thinks that everyone either was on or should be on. It's probably more should be on
Magnum PI.
Unfortunately, the show's been long since retired, and so it's not
God.
available. Yeah, Jeff, we moved back here to Dallas about 8 years ago, and never expected to live here, but we love it. Very, very happy here. So, what's on your mind, Ken? What's pressing? I know we came out of 9/11, and I was feeling you were extraordinary last night. I watched your live, and I thought it was many things. First of all, it was clearly reverent. It was somber, but not overly so. In other words, it had not lost its hopefulness. So it was somber yet hopeful. You saw a future for us.
Yeah.
You saw, I saw the word yes in your speech and not no. I saw your upset over the division that we currently are experiencing in our country. And I also saw your sadness about it. And all I could say is, well done, brother. Well done.
Thanks,
I was proud to know you last night.
Thank you. Wow.
And I'm always proud to know you, but I was exceptionally proud to know you. Where I looked and went, that's my brother. That's my brother Ken with his heart on vivid display.
Yeah, I think that, and I don't want to rehash it, but like, I would love to see the division in this country just kind of stop. But until we get past November, and probably for some time after November, it's still gonna be there. It's just and here's the worst part of it. The people that are causing the division they're doing it intentionally. It's being done on purpose. And the sheep, the sheeple,
right,
which is on both sides. This isn't aimed at the left or the right. The sheeple on both sides are lining up and falling down like a bunch of dominoes, exactly the way that they want them to.
So I have a question regarding yard signs, and this is about the full extent of politics that I want to get into on a talk show.
Yeah.
But what is the purpose of a yard sign? Has it ever changed anyone's vote? I mean, I will give you from experience, I've never driven down the street and seen how the person in the red brick house was going to vote. And then I went, you know what I was thinking and feeling? Utterly foolish. That's ridiculous that I was going to vote my conscience. Now that I'm seeing that sign, it informs me how to vote. So I'm just wondering, because it's that time of the year, and it's that, it's that time of every 4 years where it's not uncommon for people to announce who it is they're voting for. And it's weird. It's almost as though it's a way to tell your neighbors, don't talk to me unless you agree with me. Well, we're one of the few that do not post a sign in our front yard, because I think that everyone has the right to vote their conscience.
I think my personal opinion about this is, Ted Turner had a saying, early to bed, early to rise, work like a dog, and advertise. McDonald's became the largest fast food restaurant in the world, not because of the quality of the fake hamburger meat they use. It's because they advertised more than any company in the history of the world has advertised. And so you'd be surprised how many people are in the middle. They don't know. They're undecided. They don't know who they're voting for. But
is a sign in somebody's yard going to sway them to vote? Really?
It's the same.
You know what I would say? Rent a personality, have a spine, make a decision yourself.
I don't
disagree. Have your neighbor's sign determine what you're going to do in the voting booth.
Dude, it's subliminal messaging. It's all subliminal. It's not for any other reason, man. It's to affect the subconscious mind of the passersby.
That explains why when I walked up closer to my neighbor's sign, in very small print, it said, "This is to subliminally message you."
Right.
And now
we do have to disclose
I get it. I get it. Your point is made.
Jeff said it right there. Squeaky wheel gets the oil. It's true, man. Whoever's got the most, I mean, for the people who are, there are far right, far lefts, and there are people that are in the middle and they don't necessarily know.
Did you highlight Wendy's comment here? She said, "It is sad that 19 years ago we were one country and it lasted so long. All of a sudden we aren't together anymore, like it was overnight."
Yeah.
Yeah. So, if nothing more, hopefully some time was spent in remembrance, a reflection, maybe looking at a couple of minutes of video, not because we've forgotten any of those indelible images that we all have as part of our brain material now, but just to remember that whatever we're dealing with at a moment's notice, it could be your last moment of that thing or that person.
Yeah.
That whatever it is, and especially if you're a chronic complainer, and I do my best to steer clear of chronic complainers, but if you are a chronic complainer, it's interesting how the thing you complain about, what would you do? And I'm posing this question to the audience. What would you do if it were actually taken away? Right. Because in it being taken away, it would also take away your logic for complaining about it. And that would be one of the reasons people never, well, don't take it away. Don't take it away. Are you kidding? I would lose my thing to bitch about. And a lot of people seem very attached to bitching about whatever it is, and they find their identity in bitching about things.
The last movie that you shot with over at John Schneider's place.
Yes.
And then we had the gal come on.
Caroline.
Mm-hmm. What was it that she had everybody on the entire, like everybody, not just like the.
Yeah, I'll recap. What she did is she had everyone in our cast and crew. So everyone that was there working on this film, at the end of the day, when we wrapped, she would have us all gather, because it was not a huge crew. I mean, all told, probably 25 to 30 people, very, very small as movie crews go. That would be a very small crew. And we would gather, and she invited everyone to list 3 things that were wonderful about your day. Well, most of them were on set because that's what we were there doing. And we were there all day, 6 days a week. So whatever we were doing, and especially since she caught us right at the end of the day, of the work day. Anyway, we hadn't started partying or even eating dinner yet. In fact, we would usually grab our dinner and then sit around and talk about this stuff. But it was her way of inviting everyone to place their focus on what's good and what's wonderful instead of the opposite. And it produced such a palpably happy environment, which is not surprising. What we focus on increases. So Caroline, once again, I would like to say thank you to you, my dear, for that uplifting presence that you provided our set with. And that's usually my job. And suddenly I looked over and this beautiful 30-year-old woman was running the show, so to speak, and I loved it. You want to read that one? I live on a small court, and if I find a local candidate that I like, I'll post a sign, and it usually generates some conversation with my neighbors. Nice. Okay, well, paint me informed. Hello, good day, Leanne Isaacson, who's down in Australia. She's saying good afternoon, Kenny Glean. You sound like a Kiwi. No, it's right. Good afternoon, Kenny Glean. We don't know what's going on with Delilah, except that Ken informed me last week that he's got it. I reached out. He says he's got it. I trust him. I reached out. She read the message.
has not responded yet.
Really?
I have tracking, yes.
So you've confirmed that she's read the message?
She has read the message.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Okay.
Leanne thinks you're funny. That you sound like a New Zealander, a Kiwi. Keenan Glean.
It's probably Keenan Glean. It's probably because we had a guy. His name was Rodney Charters, and he was on the. He was our DP, which is director of photography, on 24. And this is the way he sounded. He's like, "No, we got to reset the lights. Got to reset the lights."
Really?
Yeah, we've got to reset the lights.
Was he from Australia or?
No, he was from New Zealand.
Oh.
It's like it's not bright enough. It's not bright enough. It's very depressing lighting. We got to go brighter, right? Because 24 is a very uplifting show. I'm afraid if I put a sign up for my vote for president that my house will get burned down. A lot of people have that concern.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that they will be vandalized in some way. And what's weird is, Ken, no matter what side you're on, whatever you put up, there's concern.
Yeah. It's a true story.
Oh, she even said it. Keen and Glean.
Yeah. So, I think that there's a lot of pressure on hey, Sandy Archer. I was just on Sandy's live stream. She didn't even say hi to me. She said hi to Nora or somebody else. But
hi, Sandy.
She didn't say hi to me. I said hi to her too.
Are you gonna be okay, baby?
No, it really made me sad.
Well, lean your head over here. Just know that I care. Okay? I don't know if anyone else does, but I. So you were on her live stream?
She was live at her high school.
Fush and chops. Look at this. Even fush and chops.
Fush and chops.
I've never had it called fush and chops. I've had it called fish and chips. And now chips in Canada, it's the same way. They put their chips in vinegar, like we always put them in ketchup over here in the United States.
Yeah.
They put them in vinegar, right? Or even in gravy. Have you seen that? Have you seen French fries put in gravy?
No.
Yeah, they dip them in gravy all over the world. A lot of places dip them in gravy. I'm just saying. If you drop a one, if you've ever dipped your chips or your French fries, if you've ever dipped them in gravy.
In gravy?
In gravy. It's spelled Grivy. Gravy.
Gravy.
Yeah. If you've ever dipped your chips in gravy. I was holding Sandy's phone. She couldn't see you.
Oh, Lord.
Hello, Joe Ingram. The world is a better place because you walk amongst us, my friend.
Joe is a really...
Look at all these ones. Chips and gravy. There it is, Leanne Isaacson. Chips and gravy.
0.
And Gabby dropped a 1 for resident.
I'm with Gabby on this one, man. I've never...
0. She's dropping a 0.
Or curry sauce? Oh, my gosh. What?
Curry sauce.
No.
You got to put your fries in curry sauce. Maybe if you're a different, you have the curry, but not if you're different. That is not the same.
Did it when I was visiting
Brisbane.
Mm-hmm.
Australia.
Hola, Ken Gren.
That's Katya from Brazil. Portuguesa. Yeah. Yeah, they speak Portuguese in Brazil.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Wow.
Which I do not. Over in Ireland, Sandy is saying. Over in Ireland, what is where the gravy is?
Curry sauce.
Oh, curry sauce is in
Ireland.
I think
that's what she meant. When in SoCal, go to the Hat Pastrami House. They have gravy fries.
There you go, gravy fries.
Dude, what? Like,
you seriously have to get out more.
Huh?
You seriously have to get out more.
I can't hear you.
I'm saying you seriously have to get out more.
I truly can't hear you. If I turn my volume up any louder, it's going to wake my family.
Okay, then don't turn it up any louder, but you need to get out more often.
Oh, I turned it way up just so I could hear that. So yes, I do.
Sandy's at White Castle right now. White Castle. I love White Castle.
They're headquartered right here in Ohio.
Oh, nice. Is it in Columbus?
I think it is. I think
you and I are going to take a little spin, mate.
Dude, there's a White Castle.
Go to the drive-through. We're going to go to the drive-through at White Castle.
24 hours a day.
Here's the deal. We're going to eat 2 burgers each, and we're going to go around the restaurant 12 times.
What, dude? I just typed into Google, where was White, and it filled in the rest. Castle, and its original location was Wichita, Kansas. Gosh, Wichita, Kansas in 1921 is when White Castle came out, dude.
I'm sorry. Wait, Ken, hold on. I can't hear you. Now my microphone was acting up. What happened in Wichita, Kansas?
Wichita, Kansas opened the very first White Castle in 1921.
Oh my gosh.
Drop a 1 if you've ever had White Castle. Drop a 1 if you've ever had a White Castle slider. Oh, man, they're so not good for you, but they're so good.
And drop a 3 if you think Ken Walz should run for president of the United States. Watch all these 3s, brother.
Yeah.
Watch. Mark my words. There
will be no 3s.
You're a very popular man, my friend.
Oh, not nearly.
You think being on 24 was special. Wait till you see all these 3s.
Yeah.
Watch. I'm waiting to see who the first 3
Gabby has some in her freezer, dude.
I have a feeling that Charles Coachman, nope, Sandy Archer was the first person to put a 3.
Nuh-uh,
no, Joe was.
Joe. Wow. Joe's my boy right there. He's my boy.
Joe thinks.
I mean, not like he has gray hair. I don't. So he can't literally be my boy, but like, you know, you get the point, right?
Yeah.
Dude, only 2 people dropped 3. I'm going to have to get more votes than that if I'm ever to run for president.
What did you get? Like 3 people who think you're qualified?
I don't know. I don't even know that they think I'm qualified. Anyway, Jeff Christensen has had White Castles.
Mm-hmm.
Gabby has some in her freezer, dude. We should just run over to her house and rob her freezer tonight while she's asleep.
Whose house?
Gabby. Gabby, drop a 1 for resident.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. She has some in her freezer. What are you doing over there, bro?
I am trying to repair my wire, which is acting up, and now I have it repaired.
Which wire?
It's all good. Now I can hear you.
She said, can Glenn be your bodyguard? Absolutely. If I'm president, Glenn is the only Secret Service agent I need.
And I will tell you right now that as an actual Secret Service agent, I'm about as worthless as teats on a boar hog. So just be clear on that.
Buchanan Glenn ticket for 2024. There you go. Let's start campaigning.
Buchanan Glenn. So, Ken, what's really going on for you on this 13th day of September? What's going on for you? Because you were so heartfelt last night, and I'm convinced you moved a lot of people.
Okay, so
I sense that you were genuinely venting your sadness over the division in our country. And what I want to highlight is something you mentioned. It's so true that the first responders, when they were running in buildings to save people, there was not a questionnaire that was filled out first.
Nope.
They weren't rushing in there finding out what your political affiliation was first, or your skin color, or your sexual preference. They were running in because you qualified by being a human being.
a brother and sister of the human race.
And that was your qualification. That was the only thing that was the only thing that mattered, is there are people in there.
That's it.
That was your title. You were people.
That first building collapsed was right about an hour or so, wasn't it? Around an hour after the first plane hit. That first building.
Yeah, but I don't think it was the first building that went down. Wasn't it the second building that dropped first?
I don't know. I honestly don't remember.
I think the South Tower went down first.
Did it?
And then the North Tower. I could be wrong, but
somebody on here knows. So I'm sure.
I believe the North Tower was hit first. The South Tower was hit second, but I think possibly.
Regardless, there was a massive. I saw a video of one of the engine trucks going across one of the bridges headed towards the World Trade Center, and Jeff said yes, correct. Charles said the second building went down first. Okay.
That's what I thought.
And this ladder truck, it was the last time that any of these guys on this ladder truck were seen alive. It was the last time. And you know, it's like nobody in this country. I remember that day. I remember sending all of my employees home. I remember closing down my offices for, I think, at least a couple, 2 or 3 days. I don't remember. It may have been longer. And I remember the eerie silence of the skies. You don't even realize how much noise pollution there is in the air from jet aircraft flying miles above your head until they're all grounded. And then you're like, it is incredible.
Don't you think that's what meditation is about?
Sure it is.
That it's not until you meditate that you discover all the noise pollution that is moving through you.
Amen, dude.
You know?
Amen.
And the only way we get in touch with how immersed we are in things that disturb our peace is by claiming our peace and being still. Oh, here's something Wendy posted.
Yeah, I can't click on
the North Tower. So it was the North Tower that was hit, and yet the South Tower went down first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's you know, but here's the thing, like we're allowing the media to control the entire narrative of what we feel and think. And this freaking division.
Well, some people are, not everyone.
No, I know, right. But a majority, a lot of people.
I agree.
And you know, it's like, turn off that stuff. Do your own research. Look around. I've had some unbelievable conversations with people that haven't watched the news in years. You know,
and I'm guessing they're still well.
Very well.
In fact, they're probably better.
And they're just almost enlightened when it comes to understanding, you know, having an understanding of what's really going on. And I think that you know, I have not watched the news in I don't know how long, 12, 13 plus years, something like that.
Can I confess something to you?
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of watching the ego maniacs that do the weather. And you know why? Do you know why I call them egomaniacs?
Why?
Because they actually have the nerve, and not some of them, all of them. I don't know where they pick this habit up of using expressions like, now we're going to warm it down for you tomorrow afternoon. We're going to warm it down. You're personally involved in what occurs. It's so interesting how people want to take credit for what is occurring meteorologically.
Wow.
And that always cries, we're going to heat it up tomorrow afternoon, or don't you worry, we're going to try to have it nice and cool for you by state fair time. As though they have an ounce of say-so.
Look at what did you see what I just popped up on the screen?
No, Leanne.
Yeah.
She says, "Ken, I am watching this in the car at 2 p.m. I'm a ferry going across the Murray River. Just sent you some photos on Messenger."
I'll share
Did we get those?
Yeah, I got them. I'll share them.
Oh, here's my buddy Greggy.
What's up, Greg?
He's catching us live. He usually catches the replay, but he is a devoted follower.
Nice.
I love me some Greg Parton. He's a dear, heart-centric man who's doing great work in the workshop. His greatest work is the work he does with who it is he is. But then his work as an actor has grown consistently for the last several years. And I've known Greg for a long time. We met in Delaware at my friend's workshop, Lee Irving.
Wow.
His own studio there in northern Delaware. Really cool town.
So there's where Leanne is right now.
Nice. Let's see a couple of photos.
Oh, they drive.
Yes, they're on a ferry.
They drive regular cars in Australia. Look at that.
Would you look at that? Would you just look at it? Ken, look at it.
I thought that there would be kangaroos involved for some reason.
Yeah. You know where they keep their spare tires? Down under the trunk. Down under the trunk. Of course they do.
Oh my God.
I love you, Greggy.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, and Roxy is 1,000% correct.
Weather folks get paid big bucks to be consistently incorrect. Anyone else would be fired.
I have, dude. Okay. So I have this story. A former very good friend of mine was the anchor man for an NBC station in the city that I used to live in. So he calls me one day and he's like, "Hey, dude." I'm like, "What's up, dude?" He goes, "You want to play on the men's league baseball team with me and a bunch of other people from the station, the TV station?" I said, "Sure, man. I haven't played baseball in 10 years or better. Why not?" I was in my 20s. I thought, sure, let's do it. So I go out there and we go to the first game or something. I don't remember the practices, but I remember the first game. And we're playing against a team that literally was made up of former like minor league pros and college like pros. They might as well be. And they are kicking our asses. I mean, bad. And the team manager, some idiot that like, he's like, "All right, let's switch pitchers." And I'm an outfielder. I've always played outfield or I played shortstop. And so I'm in the outfield and they rotate through all of our pitchers and they ask me.
Oh, they're batting around.
Oh yeah, they asked me if I can pitch. And I said, "Dude, I haven't pitched since I was like 7 years old. Like, I can, but I don't think I should. Like, I don't think it'll turn out." They're like, "Well, what do we have to lose? You might as well try."
Right. It's not like you're going to ruin the game.
Well, I said, "Hey, Greg, just down. I don't know if you're watching this on a phone or on your computer, but down beneath on the phone, it should have a button that says share, and you just click share and share to public." So I said, "Okay, fine, I'll pitch." So I get up on the mound and I'm ready to go. I think it was the very first pitch. The umpire goes, "Balk!" And I'm like, "Balk what?"
For a balk.
Yeah, I'm like, "What the balk what?" I think it was my first pitch. I'm like, "What the hell's he talking about?" I didn't even like. I had heard of a balk. I didn't know what I did to cause. And so the catcher comes out and he's like, "Dude, when you're, you can't hide the ball when you're in your wind up. And I think that's what you did. And so don't do that anymore." So second pitch, balk. I got the second pitch. And I'm like, this is bullshit. Like, I was so mad. And then I'm like, okay, so it was like the third, and like I think it was like the third or fourth pitch or something. I threw a wild pitch, man. I almost
go up over the backstop.
It was the batter hits the ground and it goes past the catcher. There were two guys on base or something, and they're like they run them in, and I'm like, oh dear God. And so like the next two or three pitches, I threw a couple of decent pitches, but then I threw another crazy pitch, and the catcher throws his glove down and starts walking toward the mound. He's cussing at me. I said, come on, you dumbass. And he's like the weather guy, or maybe he was the sports guy at the station. I forget. But I was like, the catcher and I almost got into a fight. All the other guys come over and break us up. It was bad, man. I was like, it was terrible. It was absolutely terrible.
Let me just shed some light on something to clear up.
We lost, by the way.
Typically in a baseball game, any fight that breaks out will be, as a rule, with the opposing team.
Right. That's the part that was so funny. Dude, have you ever gotten up and tried to hit a baseball? Because the other team, as I mentioned in the beginning of this story, the other team, the freaking guys were pro level. They played on the minor leagues for the Yankees and shit. Like they were really good. And so
I used to play on a basketball team that never won a game.
Dude, they threw 95-mile-an-hour fastballs.
And that's ones where when you start your swing. You're just starting it
right
as you hear the sound of it slapping the catcher's glove.
Oh, dude, it's crazy fast.
I might have been a little late with that one. I got to be honest with you.
It's crazy, man. Their pitcher was ridiculous. And so it's like, I'm like, yeah, I didn't stick with that game. I hated it.
That's priceless. Yeah, I played on a team in a church league, and we were an all-white basketball team, and we would had to have been proved to be labeled terrible. I mean, we were, I think we played something like a 12-game season each year, and we were 0-12, like 3 or 4 years in a row. And I got out because I felt like I was doing damage to my self-esteem. I mean, you want to at some point see a check mark in the W column.
Oh, every now and then. So Charles called a balk on his son in an all-star game. Wow. Tammy says white men can't jump.
Well, I can still dunk a basketball.
Really?
So, yeah.
Still, yeah. Right now.
Oh, I don't know about today, but I mean, I could dunk a basketball.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm 5'11", and I've got legs like a jackrabbit, or I used to.
Yeah.
Now I could probably dunk it if they lowered it by 2 feet.
Yeah, that's how I was getting ready to say I can dunk it once it's lowered down pretty far.
Right.
About 6.
Oh yes, we're ready for a good football joke, Wendy. Go.
Go, Wendy, go. Oops.
There it is.
Okay.
The NFL announced today that because of lost revenue due to kneeling, an NFL team has to be cut. Tampa Bay and the Green Bay Packers will combine teams to become the Tampacks. They will be good for only one period and have no second string. Oh, Wendy.
Oh, that's awesome. Holy crap.
Wendy.
Awesome.
Good for only one period. Oh my gosh.
So funny. Holy crap.
Did Wendy really do that? Did she just?
That is so funny, dude. I mean, I gotta leave that up.
Wow. Well, leave it up there long enough for our viewers to memorize it.
That is hilarious. Wow. That's
and funny. Kellen said Kellen used to use a mini trampoline to dunk.
Yeah.
That would be fun, actually, is to have a league where there's a little mini tramp that's at the top of the key.
Greg said he finally got it. He said, I need a 7-year-old to help me. That's funny.
Oh, he finally got the football joke?
No, he finally shared it. He was able to.
Okay.
I think that's what he meant.
I thought he needed a 7-year-old to interpret that joke.
Yeah.
That's funny.
From his little giant ladder.
Yeah, I got to say, I played a head coach of the Abilene Eagles who went, they had a perfect season a few years back in 07 and won the state championship here in Texas. And yeah, it's a film called Brothers Keeper, also known as Bro Keep. And some interesting people in the film, but I went down there. Yes, the Cowboys are playing the Rams. Oh, they're playing them in the new stadium down in Inglewood. Oh, wow. They finished that bad boy, huh? Oh, that's going to be incredible.
Wow.
I was there for I want to say the last game they played in Los Angeles, the Cowboys.
Mm.
That was pretty cool.
So wait, are we talking Inglewood, California?
Inglewood, California, where the Forum, it's right down the street. The new stadium in Los Angeles is right down the street from the old Forum, right there adjacent to Hollywood Park Casino.
Now, does Brad Sham, does he travel with them and go?
Yes, he does. He is on the team plane for every game.
Wow.
Yeah, tomorrow night. How about that, Ken? I'm doing a show tomorrow night with you guys when my Dallas Cowboys are playing.
Well, hey,
I don't lack commitment.
My Pittsburgh Steelers are not even. I'm out. I'm not watching football this year. I am out, and I'm part owner in a fantasy football league. So, but I'm out. Boycotting.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, if you're going to complain about the players, you should boycott.
I'm not complaining.
I don't mean you. I'm saying anybody.
Right.
In other words, if you don't like their behavior, quit. I agree with you what you said the other day. Quit watching.
Quit watching, man. And if enough people stop watching, the team owners will be forced to fire them and hire all new staff.
You know, I often am puzzled by why people are so willing to give away their power. You referred to this earlier when you were talking about the media sort of dictating, and I didn't want to interrupt you. So I, in a rare display of keeping my mouth shut, I did so. But what the question is who's running your life?
Right.
I want to ask everyone that question is, who's running your life? Or are you? Because it could be that maybe upon further review, you're not. I mean, if everything were in order, you would be. But you know, Ken, what I've noticed, and this is said from a judgment-free place, in fact, a place of extreme compassion, is when people give up their power, they never give it up all at once. And when people lose their way, they never lose their way all at once.
Nope.
I wrote a chapter about it years ago, and the name of the chapter was simply called A Little Bit at a Time.
Yeah.
And it seems that pattern both creates and erodes lives. We create it a little bit at a time. We build it. We also let our lives slip away a little bit at a time. We give someone some say-so. We give the media say-so. We give a spouse the say-so. We give clergy the say-so. We give our friends the say-so, our boss the say-so, our co-workers the say-so, or even the collective, meaning societal imprinting itself. We give it the say-so.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, as we get older, we realize that we've become the 7th or 8th most significant vote. How did that happen? You know?
Yeah.
How did that happen? How did we wind up valuing our own voice 7th or 8th down the list, or even 3rd or 4th? And it's not surprising when that's our truth that things get out of whack.
You know, I've said this 1,000 times, dude. Like nobody, you know, being born into this world even though the mother goes through a tremendous amount of pain and trauma, the baby, the child, actually, unless it's removed by cesarean, it goes through a tremendous amount of. I mean, can you imagine?
Yeah, I can.
Can you remember?
Vividly. I remember it, and it was tough.
You remember?
Sure.
Okay.
You don't remember your own birth and your face going like,
no, but like they like
this
it.
Is what a baby looks like when it's going through the canal.
I know it, but like it's so intense that it deforms the baby's head for a while.
Right. I would release this, but I'm trying to reenact it fully, which means I need to do this for the next several hours.
Right. Okay. Well, you just stay like that. Somebody get a screenshot of that.
Go ahead, Ken. Is this annoying at all?
So, but you go through so much to get here. Nobody was born into this world for you, and nobody's going to die for you, but you are going to have to die. Every one of us is. And we live our lives in so much freaking fear of what other people think, what other people are. I mean, it's insane, man. Like it blows my mind how we just give our power away. Give it away.
Yeah, so let's explore the why tonight. I want to achieve something great this evening. And if we just figure out the why, I know what one of the reasons is for real. I'm not playing. You know what one of the primaries is? Acceptance. People are so starved for acceptance. They just want to be accepted. They want to fit in. That all of a sudden, and I'm going to see if this speaks to any of you out there. And I'm not asking you to admit something if you're uncomfortable, but if you are comfortable with saying this, how many times have you done something and then you realize the only reason that I'm even doing this, or maybe the only reason I'm not speaking up about something, is because I don't want to rock the boat, or I want to be accepted, or I don't want to be judged.
Right.
And I think that keeps people in a lot of questionable circumstances, Ken.
Yep.
Totally
agree.
No, I'm in this one with you because you're a cool dude and you're a brother to me, and not because I fear what would happen if I ever said anything. Because you and I talk about everything.
Everything.
Right.
Literally.
Right. And we don't always agree, and we respect one another to respectfully disagree without saying, I disagree with you. And you know what's weird? A healthy disagreement becomes an unhealthy one when you add the words, and you're wrong.
Well, and I found one of the best things for at least yours and mine, our friendship, our relationship is when we first started hanging out, I said, Glenn, there's only two. I only have two rules. One is I'm always right. And two, when in doubt, refer back to one.
Rule one.
And right. you said, oh, okay, cool.
I think I said, thanks for stopping by, Ken. Go ahead, take yourself out. There it is. Thanks for stopping by.
I'm kidding. No,
let's look at Rebecca Evans' comment and read it for us if you would, Ken. Hi, Rebecca.
Life's too damn short. Who gives a shit? Brings you true joy. Who cares what other people think? I've always been a black sheep loner, but people don't know my story even when I've reached out. That's right. I agree with you, Rebecca. I agree.
Charles says everyone does that at some point. Yeah. Meaning sells out. I'm assuming he's talking about selling out and fitting in despite a certain amount of discomfort in letting go of our own policies or boundaries or whatever. And so there is this quest for popularity, Ken, is what I've observed. There's a quest for popularity. And I'm not talking about the high school type quest for popularity, but in other words, just not wanting to upset anyone. I just don't want to upset anyone.
Don't rock the boat.
You'd probably be better off and more healthy if you were willing to upset a few people.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, the only ones who are going to be really upset are the unhealthy ones.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're really going to get bent out of shape because you took a stand for your soul, are those the people that you really want in your life? I'm asking, I'm not telling. Yes.
Kevin Bacon's watching.
Oh, Kevin's back with us tonight.
Kevin Bacon, ladies and gentlemen. Kevin Bacon.
One with a side of bacon.
At least he was watching. So
wait a minute. I have done that. Here, Greg is saying I have done that. They call me the peacemaker in my family.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wendy says, I think what I think, and it gets me in lots of trouble. My response to that, Wendy, is congratulations.
Right.
Congratulations for your willingness to get into trouble. And especially with your family. I think it's that much more daring. Now, if you're trying to do it to stir up trouble, that's different. But if merely by being who it is you are, that stirs up trouble, this is a very loud comment on the company you keep. And let me say we, so that it doesn't feel like I'm talking at anyone. We, the company we keep, if we are honoring our soul and being the best versions of who it is we know we were designed to be, and that manages to be irritating to someone, I think that's why they invented the expression, oh, well. Ken, I'm pretty sure that's where oh, well came from.
It is. Sorry, I was getting a piece of gum.
Like, oh, well.
Look, I make my living by getting attention, and I teach people how to get attention using social media and live streaming and all of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I post a lot. We're friends on Facebook. You see it. I post a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I'm opinionated. But most of the time it's just I'm trying to help people.
Mm-hmm. And you're opinionated, but not offensively so.
Typically not. But I think it'll get worse the closer we get to the election.
That you will become insufferable?
Oh, yeah, I'm going to lose a lot of friends. But so
I can look forward to that. That's exciting.
So, but here's the thing, man. Here's the thing. I've told people that complain about me posting so much, hey, I have a deal for you. You pay my bills, and we're golden. I'll quit posting. Matter of fact, if you pay me enough, I'll just go into retirement. Problem solved. Until that day comes, mind your own damn business.
Wow.
Unfriend me, unfollow me. I don't care.
In my pocket and just see if we can pay you off right now. I got one of these, little Benji.
Well, let's see. Hold on.
Will that do the job? I got a little Benji for you here. Here, just take it, Ken. Just take it. Okay. There, you all saw it. I just gave it to Ken. Here's another one. You ready? Ready? Just take it. Ready? Here you go. All right, that's $200. We're all good, right?
I got it. Thank you.
Oh, all right. Well, let me hand you one more, right? Because you're worth it. So just one more. Here, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just take this one. Ready? Here, I'm gonna reach down below and hand it to you.
Hold it. Let me reach
over. No, go down below. I was handing it to you. I wanted it to be not so obvious. Just right underneath here. Yeah, grab it.
All right, I got it. Got it. Thank you. Thank you. Got it.
Cool.
That's still not enough, though, dude.
What would be your point of saturation?
It'd be in the millions, bro. Millions. Wow. It'd have to be millions.
Hey, we got some nice chime-ins. Rebecca says, at the end of the day, popularity, politics, doesn't matter. Your character, principles, integrity matter. People who see you matter. Non-blood family matter. The rest are optional.
Can I show you my new wallet? My new billfold thing?
Well, I would put that money I just handed you in there if I were you.
It's right there.
Okay.
And this side has my little deputy sheriff challenge coin.
Yes, I know about that.
My FOP, get out of jail free card. But check this thing out, dude. Watch. There's a little switch on the bottom. And this has one of those RFID. Are you watching? You're not watching.
I am losing you if I do it. I'm trying to preserve the sound. Go.
Okay, look. I pull this little lever. Can you see that? See that lever right there?
Yes.
I pull this lever. Watch.
I'm watching.
All of my credit cards pop up.
Oh, that's a keeper.
And it's RFID, so it protects against those people stealing your info wirelessly.
Wow.
So let's see. Greg says, I agree. Oh, you read this already.
No, I didn't.
Oh, I agree to a point, but just for example, politics. People are ripping each other apart and never end up with a good conversation. It rips my heart out to see people who and thought these two were close that I've never said to my worst enemy. Right. Yeah, I know. It's crazy, man. That's what my live was about last night.
That's the one I
that's one you read. Yeah. Leanne said, just sent another photo if you're interested. It is a beautiful sunny spring afternoon here in South Australia. Yeah, I'll show that in just a second. Sandy says, cool. Oh, my wallet. Thank you. Yeah, I thought it was cool. I bought it on Amazon. Greg says, I have an army challenge coin. That's awesome, dude. That is awesome. So,
Joe, do we have any other thoughts from folks about giving your power away or ways in which you've done that? And what do you do to reclaim? Ken, what do you do to reclaim your power if you feel like you've let it slip?
Reclaim my power as far as if I
feel like if you can identify that in a relationship you've let your power slip. And I mean, I can't see you having done much of this, at least not the version of you that I know.
Well,
I didn't know the Caterpillar version of you. We all have. Of course we have.
I don't do that anymore.
I don't do it anymore either. Lesson learned.
He sent you a photo.
Oh, he sent me a photo of the face I made.
I think
Sandy said it right here. I've given power away by not putting up boundaries.
Yeah, I mean, I have some pretty freaking solid boundaries now, man. I don't but there was a time when I didn't, and that's all about being insecure with yourself and that's, listen, when I say someone is insecure, that's not me like it's not a negative judgment. It's an observation.
Right.
And because everyone goes through insecurities, everyone. And so there's times when all of us can be in a room and feel like, wow, I just don't fit in here. This isn't my crowd. Or
right.
They're too high above me or too far below me. They're not on my level, whatever. Like, it's just, it is what it is, man. It's called being human. But I've found that the way that I've overcome that is, number one, through a lot of years of meditation. Number two, through doing a lot of self-analysis work, like the steps of Alcoholics Anonymous. When you dig in and you start going, okay, what are the reasons that I'm insecure? Why? A lot of times it goes back to things that you've actually done wrong that you're not admitting to, you're not fessing up to. Things that were done wrong to you that you're trying to keep buried or I'm taking this to my grave. You and I talked about this on a phone call the other night, and it comes from recovery, Alcoholics Anonymous. And that is, we are as sick as our secrets.
Right.
You brought that up. You told me that you had heard that. And it's so true, man. When, I'm not getting into all of the steps in recovery that I've done, but I've done them all multiple times. And I'll tell you that there were things that I had buried, and as you go through this spiritual journey of uncovering, and you're just digging more of the crap out, because you want to become a better human, right? You want to be better, and the only way to do that is to really dig in and find out what's going on. And as you do that, they call it removing the layers of the onion, and you're getting closer and closer and closer to the core. And there's stuff that's come up in my life that was like, oh my God, I forgot. I didn't even, like, that memory was buried. I didn't, like, I've been through this whole process before. Why didn't it come up before? And
right.
It's because as you become healthier and healthier, and I'm not trying to pontificate, but you become better. You become well, start getting well. The layers of the onion are being peeled away. You're healing, and you start seeing other things that they just weren't there because they were covered up by the previous layers.
Yeah, that's really true. Can you illuminate Greg Parton's comment? I'd rather give my power away than my dignity, and say something out of anger that would hurt someone, that when you calm down saying crap, I can't believe I said that. No matter how much you apologize, you've already put that out in the universe, and negative breeds negative.
Well, okay. So, Greg, if I may, I agree with you.
You know, Greg, he's part of our Tuesday night group, Ken.
Okay. I've seen Greg. Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. However, there's this thing called forgiveness, and I think that the hardest thing for us, I'll use man and woman as examples. In recovery, I've seen men and women that have a list of sexual partners they've had. And the men, for men, it's always been like, wow, way to go, dude. That's a lot, man. Good job. And for women, it's like, you are a hoe.
Right.
Right. And it's a
source of pride on one side and embarrassment on the other.
It's a double standard. And
right.
So it's like, and so people live with this guilt. They live with this self-imposed guilt of things that they've done in the past. And she says it's a total double standard. I agree 1,000%. But like, we have to learn how. Somebody told me once, dude, it's easy to ask for forgiveness from others. Most of the time, they're going to give it to you. Most of the time, you're going to get that forgiveness. And it's easy to I just lost it. It's easy to ask forgiveness from others. It's easy to receive that forgiveness from others, but it's almost impossible at times for us to accept forgiveness for ourselves, for what we've done ourselves, forgiving ourselves.
I'm going to show you guys something. Ken, hold on just a second. Oh, she may have left. I was going to show you. I'm sorry about that. It'll focus.
There you go.
I was going to show you.
I saw
a feral cat. What used to be feral just made his first trip. Her first trip upstairs.
Oh, that's nice.
The first visit upstairs that I've seen, and I'm excited. It's the little things in life, but.
Mo Rock, what's going on, Mo Rock?
True forgiveness. Thank you for giving.
Amen, dude. Amen. I agree. God, that's so true. We got to learn to forgive ourselves for the crap we've done. We got to learn to forgive ourselves for the crap we've done. And that's where, having 18 years of, I feel lucky to have 18 years of sobriety and recovery, dude. I feel really, really lucky, because without having been an alcoholic and being literally, there was no other option besides death for me. So like I had to get help, and that was the only way. And it's the most healing spiritual program that I have ever. It's just not. It's almost not fair to people who haven't been in it.
Right, and you did get help though. That's the important thing.
Yeah, and you learn so much about how to heal. You learn so much about how to heal. And so forgiving myself was the hardest thing, man. Was the hardest thing. But doing the work and writing this stuff out, and the prayer, the meditation, all of that, it's a process, man, but it can happen. And
I don't know if you've ever heard of this description of forgiveness, but I consider it to be the most beautiful one I've ever heard, and I can recite it from memory. That forgiveness is the scent the rose petal leaves upon the heel that crushed it.
Yes.
And it's so true. You know, it's just, it's so vivid. I want to say it one more time. Forgiveness is the scent the rose petal leaves upon the heel that crushed it. And, you know, in people's attempts to crush us, whether it be intentional or just mindlessly crushing another human being, they step on us, and what we're full of is what will come out. I want to say that again. What we're full of is what will come out. In other words, when life presses us hard, whatever it is, and we ooze, we can only ooze what's in us.
Right.
You can't, it's impossible for a human being to ooze what isn't in them.
Yep.
So if what comes out is anger and resentment, then that means you probably got plenty of anger and resentment in you, because when the heat got turned up in the kitchen and the pressure came on, what oozed out was anger and resentment. Yeah. But if what we're full of is love, then love is what gets on those who would oppress us, be it intentionally or unintentionally. And I got to tell you, it really boggles their mind. When someone tries to injure you and what gets on them is love, emotionally they look like this. They don't know what to do with it. And it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. So again, forgiveness is the scent the rose petal leaves upon the heel that crushed it. So just make sure you're leaving your beautiful scent upon anyone that ever tries to step on you, because that tends to stay with them.
Yeah, ego is edging God out.
I've seen that many times.
I've talked about this before, I think, on our show, but I'll say it again. I remember the first time that after I got sober and I was in recovery, I remember my sponsor said, dude, you have to, like, who was the person that caused you the most pain in life? And I told him, and he goes, you have to pray for that dude. I said, I'll pray for him to burst into flames. Like, I'm not. He's like, dude, that's a start.
Well, that's certainly a start. I'm going to pray for him to burst into flames.
But I can remember thinking,
wow, Ken, I love you. That's funny.
Dude, I can remember thinking, that's not happening ever. And I think I said it, like, dude, that's not happening. He's like, well, let me tell you how this works. If you hang on to that resentment, you will get drunk again. And you'll eventually die. You know, the number one offender in a program of Alcoholics Anonymous and Narcotics Anonymous and all of the different recovery programs, the number one offender is resentment. Number one.
Yeah, and I gotta say, I don't have any identifiable resentments. I don't. I mean, I had the right to, you know, and I think we all, if we scan our history, we can come up with, you know, it would be justifiable if I were to have held a resentment in this matter. But when you understand that the damage which is caused by resentment will be upon you, I told you, Ken, when I was 14, this good old boy stopped me down in Port Aransas, Texas, and said, "Hey, Glenn, son, anger and resentment will always do more harm to their container
than
any one they could ever be poured upon." And I just went, "Can you say that again?" And he did. And I realized, yeah, so harboring resentment, you will certainly be the first one on the firing lines of those who get wounded by it. So self-interest, it turns out, self-interest is a reason to let go of resentment. I mean, everything is improved by it, but none more so than you and the entirety of your life.
It's true. And I didn't, I can remember the first night that I prayed, and I went through my list, and at the end of my prayers, I was like, "Oh yeah, and God bless so and so," and went to bed. Next night, before I went to bed, I said my prayers again, and oh yeah, God bless so and so, and I did not mean it. I'm not gonna lie. I honestly didn't mean it. In fact, it pissed me off to say that. It really did. It made me angry.
It pissed you off to say God bless so and so?
Oh, yes. There was so much resentment there, man. And by about the end of 1 month, I remember praying, and I said, "God bless so and so." And then I got finished praying and I said, "Amen." And I had this sudden realization, this overwhelming sensation throughout every cell in my body, that for the first time, I meant it. I meant it.
That must have felt wonderful.
It was like a semi truck had just like rolled right off of my chest, and I could breathe for the first time in my life. It was unbelievable. So forgiving others and the power that I received from that, and I don't mean power as in political power. I'm talking about power over my own life, my own spiritual and mental well-being. It just started perpetuating this unbelievable one event after another that started occurring in my life. And my life today is magical. I literally can pick up the phone at any moment of any day, just about, and call my buddy Glenn Moorshower and say, "Hey, Glenn."
Glenn, you said it right too, Ken.
But I can call you. I can pick up, and I've talked about this before. The people that I can call that are friends of mine, and people that love me and that I love, and that, Jeffrey Gittimer and Mark Victor Hansen, and just all of these people that I know that are good friends, and that are constantly in contact with me. I don't have to call them; they call me once in a while. I mean, it's like this Doug Wing, that guy is Doug Wing. Like anyway, I won't go into, I've talked about Doug Wing many times, but just talked to him for over an hour earlier tonight. Unbelievable human being. The people that are in my life today would not be in my life today had I hung on to that anger and resentment.
That's true. Well, you had to create a space for them to show up, brother.
Yeah. I had to become a new person, somebody different, somebody completely different.
So this is bringing up a couple of thoughts for me, if I may. One of them is, when you tell someone you're going to pray for them, do it. Right. Actually do it. No, it's interesting. I'm going to give a percentage to this. I'm going to say that close to 50% of the time, someone will share a concern and someone will go, "Well, I'll pray for you, man. I'll pray for you." And you realize that was it. Just so you know, that was it right there. The moment they said, "I'll pray for you," that was the prayer. And yes, it's better than nothing.
Yeah.
But I think that when most people, well, I don't know about most, it's a lot. I know it's a large percentage. When people say, I'll pray for you, man, if you were to track forward from that moment, the next time they prayed, did they actually do what they said they were going to do?
Right.
And I'm going to put that out there as a call to action is, do you do that? Do you do that? If you tell someone you're going to pray for them,
yeah,
do you just say it because it's a really nice thing to say in the
I
moment and it's well received? Or
yeah.
do you, at the next point you pray, include them as you promised you would? And I want to tell you, if you don't, or if you're flimsy about that, I want to make a suggestion. Do it immediately.
Yes.
This is something that I do. I do it immediately. If I'm on the phone or I see a post or whatever, and someone says, um, just keep me in your thoughts and prayers, whatever, and I say, I absolutely will. Then when I hang up, my next order of business is to do it right then.
Yep.
That way, first of all, Ken, can you imagine something worse to be out of integrity about than praying for someone? I mean, if you're going to be out of integrity, it shouldn't be in the matter of prayer.
That's why I do it.
Really and truly, if you tell somebody you're going to pray for them, then pray for them. But a great discipline is to just do it now and say some words in whatever your form is, and then you will have honored what you said you were going to do. And honestly, it feels good to have an above board. Go ahead and read Rebecca's comment, then I'll continue.
I want you to read it because I want you to talk about.
Okay, well, I've got to finish my point, so leave it on the screen for just a moment. It feels good, everyone. Man, this is going to be so simplistic, and yet it's really the truth. It feels good to feel good. I can't say that enough. It feels good to feel good. And for the record, not so surprisingly, it feels bad to feel bad. So I like to do things that leave me feeling good. And one of those is to make good on what I said in general. That has increased in its priority for me over the years, that if I say something, then I will do what I said. And that's how I keep an above board opinion of myself, because at least I look and I say, you were a man of your word in this matter. And I got to tell you, there's no better way to learn how to be a person of your word than to experience the rotten feelings associated with not being that.
Yeah.
Right? That if you ever said something and you didn't make good on it, if it was a promise, it was whatever, and then you stop and go, you know what? I'm better than that. I'm better than that, or certainly I want to be better than that. I don't like how that feels. One of the things I would never want said on my headstone, unreliable. Unreliable would be one of the biggest insults.
Yeah.
That one would feel worse than lazy, because lazy, there's a chance you might not be hurting anyone but you. But if you're unreliable, you are hurting others. By being unreliable, it means nobody can count on you. And what if it listed your first name and then in quote marks, unreliable, as your middle name, and then your last name? That would be, that would be a tough headstone. That would be a tough headstone. I started to say a tough headstone to live with, but you wouldn't have to live with it because you'd already be dead. So,
oh my God.
But I mean, it's a hell of a legacy to, somebody walking by in the graveyard doesn't even know you, but they look and go, there's an unreliable cat right there. I mean, that's awful.
That would be bad.
Okay, is this the comment?
I want you to read this, but I want you to. I think it'll prompt you to talk about what I want you to talk about.
Okay. Well, Rebecca is a friend of mine and one of my students at the Extra Mile, by the way, has been for a number of years. Not currently, but is certainly part of our Heartfelt family. Yeah. And once you're in the Heartfelt family, you're always in. She says, I am not who I was a few years ago. To be judged by who you were rather than who you are now is so frustrating. Or when people hear about you but never hear your side. And yes, always pray if you say you will do it. I certainly feel you, Rebecca, in this, and yet because yes, this so often does happen, I think that it is reason. It's not the only reason, but it's certainly a damn good reason why we want to be careful about how we show up in the world. Because so often, when we show up in a less than terrific manner, we get labeled. Actually, however we show up, we get labeled, right? So, what this teaches us is that a reputation is crucial because it is very difficult. Doesn't mean it can't be done, but it is very difficult to undo a tarnished reputation. Or if the previous you referred to of who it is you were. I'm not who I was a few years ago. Well, none of us are, for starters. To be judged by, hang on, Ken, let me, to be judged by who you were rather than who you are now is so frustrating. Yes. I would also label that as the cost of doing business, meaning that's the cost of doing business. So this is one of the reasons that 12-step programs will often suggest that you change your scenery, meaning begin to hang out with a new group of people. And that is simply so that you can give yourself a clean slate. And with the new group of people, you can show up entirely as the person you've become. And then there will not be those penalties of people judging you for who you used to be. And if it's a 12-step program, such as AA or any one of the other programs along those lines, then the comfort food there, the comfort is that everyone else in that group has come from a not so terrific background, and they've all openly admitted that to one another. So they are recognizing that though you may used to be a miserable caterpillar or someone they wouldn't have wanted to spend time with, or whatever it is, whatever label that's not complimentary you obtained, they are celebrating the butterfly version of you without rubbing your face in the fact that you used to make choices that were, let's just call them, not as evolved as the ones you're currently making. That's not their job. Their job is to see the new version of you. So I think it's all about the company we choose to keep, Rebecca. You have no obligation to hang out with people who hold you to your old standard.
What I love is, and what I was going to bring up is what you said there toward the end, and that is, don't hang out with people who judge you as the butterfly that you currently are by the
what the caterpillar did.
I mean, it's look, there are people in my life that I hurt. I hurt them, and in sobriety and a lot more before I got sober, but I'm human. We're all human, right? And so I can ask for forgiveness. I can also change, it's not, there are people that keep doing the same thing over and over and continuously asking for forgiveness for doing the same BS all the time. And it's like, dude, I already forgave you 3 times, 10 times, 100 times. There comes a point where you go, okay, it's time to move on. But no matter what I do, no matter what you do, you could walk on water for some people. And there are people that they're just not going to be happy. They're not going to ever forgive me. It took me a long time to realize that it's not, there are people that aren't going to be happy with me because of stuff I did in the past, period. I can't change that.
Mm-hmm.
I can only do the best I can do to keep my side of the street clean and continue to pray. Whoa. Did your screen just flicker?
No, but you froze.
That was weird.
You were probably receiving forgiveness from someone.
I couldn't go very long tonight, and here we are.
Well, because it's what we do.
And
it's what we do. Every so often, though, Ken, I think that in all fairness, and I'm included in this, you're included in this, and people may not wish to be included, but if we really, really do what you suggest we do, and I agree with you, which is when you talk about total ownership.
Yeah.
Right. When you're really owning 100% of your behavior.
Yeah.
I think every so often we can go, you know what? I may not deserve that, but I did. I did. Meaning at one point in time, I deserved the opinion that they're holding. I've grown, I've changed, I deserve a different opinion, but I understand that damage was done, and I have to accept that I caused pain. I have to accept that I put a dent in a circumstance.
Yep.
And all you can do is own that, but then not hate them for not seeing this fully revived you. Because, for example, if someone slams into you from behind, they can say they're sorry all they want. But if your neck was broken, and I'm speaking not literally, but metaphorically, if your neck was broken or severely fractured, injured in some way, they're saying they're sorry doesn't necessarily make your neck feel better. And they may mean it, and you say that's good and everything, but meanwhile, you're for the rest of your life possibly carrying around an injury. And so it's great that they've gone on. Let's say, for example, let's say that someone got drunk and ran over a couple of your family members. I'm not being ugly here. I'm giving you an actual situation. And while you may seek to forgive them, what you notice is you don't have the restorative power to call your family members back to life. And that for the rest of your life, you will always be reminded of their drunkenness by the absence of your family members who are gone because of a problem they very much had. And it's nice that they're over it. It's nice that they've healed. It's nice that they've gone on with their lives. But none of that brings back the consequence of their actions of getting drunk and driving. So part of ownership of our behavior includes, in fact, it might even be the bigger part, Ken, and I'm just expressing my opinion, and you and I, more often than not, we agree, but if we don't, it's okay if we don't. But I think true ownership also owns the consequences. It doesn't just own the regret. It doesn't just say, I was a fool and I did that, or I shouldn't have done that, or whatever. It also says, and I caused something by doing that.
Yeah.
So now we're owning both the behavior and the repercussions that were created by that behavior.
Yep.
And that to me is true ownership. And sometimes that level of ownership is a tough pill to swallow, because you're realizing, you know what? I am as imperfect as the day is long, or certainly have been in my past, or I was way more selfish a few years ago than I currently am. Whatever it is, that's total ownership. So I forgive others for even holding the opinion of me that they hold. For anyone who has any kind of opinion that doesn't really line up in terms of congruence, it's sort of like, if you had really known me, instead of jumping to conclusions, there's a real good chance you wouldn't have formed that opinion. But I realized that in that short window, I had a window to make an impression. And it turns out that I didn't do a better job earning a lofty opinion. And that's not why we're in the world anyway. But in other words, had I shown up differently, would your opinion be different? And the answer is more often than not, yes. That your opinion of me would have been a loftier opinion if I had handled myself differently. That's ownership. And I'm sort of setting that not up just for me uniquely, but for people in general. That when we own our behavior and we own not only who it is we are, but who it is we were, and we're basically saying, how can I make amends with regard to the pain that I caused or the consequences I created, without making things worse? And I love that about this 12-step program, that they say to make amends, except in those instances where to do so basically would cause more harm than good. And I really realize that.
Would injure them or others. And
Right.
part of that was, I had a list of some women that I needed to make amends to. And I remember my sponsor saying, so tell me about this woman. I said, well, I had a one night stand or whatever, and I probably owe her amends. And he goes, it says, except when to do so would injure them or others. And, that could be she's married and happily married, and you showing up on the front doorstep could cause harm to that marriage.
Right, to lighten your mental load, which derails the whole train in her situation.
Right, and that's a self-centered, selfish reason. And he would always say, check your motives. What are your motives? What are the reasons? Are you hoping to hook up with her again? Deep down inside, are you hoping that is that like, check your motives and make sure that they're pure and real and as clean as possible. So there sometimes the amends that you can make to some people is just stay the hell out of their lives. And go be a better person. And one of the things that we haven't talked about is, and I think it's unbelievably important to talk about, is grace. There is grace. And I probably don't define it as like the way that other people do. But I think that once we realize that.
How do you define it, Ken?
Well, I see it as once I've truly admitted in my heart, not just said it out loud.
Right.
Big difference. Once I've truly admitted something I've done in error, that maybe I didn't intentionally, maybe I did it intentionally.
At the time, most of us didn't mean what we did. Right. Whatever it was we did, we meant it.
I mean, because I've had DUIs, man. I've had problems. When I was drinking, I drank for a long time, and so I had problems, and I'm not proud of those, but I was very, very sick, and I didn't realize how sick I was. I just didn't. And it's not an excuse. It's the truth. But there were consequences that came from that. There were consequences that came from that behavior. And although I couldn't fix those in my human ways, what I found was there is an invisible power out there called God. I call it God. You can call it whatever you want.
Well, you know what I call it.
I know.
I call it God.
I know. So there is this invisible power that once I truly admitted the error in my ways and quit blaming everyone else. That's the biggest thing, man, is taking 100% responsibility for everything, every single outcome, and saying, yeah, that was me. Yes, it was me. I did it. And truly meaning it in your heart, like, I screwed up. I made an error. This power that's invisible. And it doesn't all, there's this other saying, God is never early and he's never late. He's always right on time.
Right.
And there's this power that exists that, like, these magical things occur in life once you admit that you are not God, that you're not the creator. You're part of, I believe we're all part of God, right? But we're not God. I didn't create the heavens and the earth. He may have created my spirit at that point, and I may have been around for many years throughout that. But I had to admit the things that I've done wrong. I had to talk about and admit the things that were done wrong to me as well. And I had to finally, at some point, I had to drop the victim stick.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, it wasn't. I mean, I was with Glenn at the time. It wasn't. I mean, he's the one that wanted to do that, and he was already drunker than I was, so I drove. I mean, he told me to. He said we'd be fine.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people do that, dude. I went on a 12-step call to a hospital, and this guy was laying in traction. And I had a doctor friend of mine with me that's in recovery. This dude was laying in traction, a full body cast. Literally, all you could see was his eyes and his nostrils and his mouth. A full body cast. He had crashed his pickup truck into a tree, flown through the windshield, and his entire body wrapped around the tree. And he lived. And I remember walking in, and I was in shock. I've never seen anything like that. I was like, oh my dear God. This is like a bad scene from The Resident. Sorry, I had to plug the show, but this guy, and so we're talking to this guy, and we had a big book of Alcoholics Anonymous with us, and we're going. So, when you're feeling a little better, I know this is all new, but when you're feeling a little better, we brought a book for you to read, and would love to have you, come to a meeting and find a better way to live. And this guy goes,
they gave him the big book. Is that what it was?
Yeah, we gave him the big book, signed it, put our phone numbers in it. This guy goes, he's laying there. He's looking at, I'm on one side of the bed and my buddy's on the other side. He goes, I can't even do it with a straight face. He goes, what are y'all talking about? I don't have a drinking problem.
The body cast might suggest otherwise.
Dude, you are literally laid up in traction right now, bro. Like, what do you mean? I think I laughed. I said, are you serious? And he's I don't know. I don't. Like, he's getting really mad.
I want to read his book on denial. When he gets out of that cast, I really want to read that book.
I'm like, dude, you got a problem, man. I hate to say it, but you do, man. And I've been there. I mean, I've not been where you are, bro, but I've been in denial. I spent it's not a river in Egypt, man. I spent many, many years in that river. And I'm telling you that there's a better way to live than that. But, that's part for me. And that's why when I'm on live streams, you've heard me talk about it hundreds of times probably by now. Mm-hmm. I don't hide the fact that I'm a recovered alcoholic with 18 years sober. I'm grateful as hell that I'm an alcoholic, and I'm grateful that I'm recovered. Why? Because I can relate to so much stuff, man, that people are going through. I can relate to waking. I wrote about it in my book. I said, I woke up every morning to the judge, jury, and executioners, like all of them. They were there in my head having a meeting and talking about how they were going to kill me today. Like, I literally had all of that going on every morning. And so I get it, man. I get it. I get it when the guy's laid up in traction. There was a point in my drinking career, I called it, that I would have said the same thing, probably. What are you guys talking about? Could one of you get me a drink? I don't have a drinking problem. Problem is I don't have any drinks here. That's a real problem. Like, somebody get me a straw. And
it's identification of where the problem actually lies, right? That's right. Hey, Ken, I want to do a quick acknowledgement of Wendy's comment from earlier. I just looked up and saw that she shared with us that she had lost her dad recently. Did you see that?
Oh, wow.
She said, I just lost my dad and so many prayed for our family. The power of prayer works for sure, and we appreciated it. He went without pain.
Wow.
Yeah.
So sorry, Wendy.
Our love and support and prayers for complete restorative healing for you, Wendy. We're with you. We've had a number of people in our Extra Mile family, and even in our Ken and Glenn show family, and Ken and Glenn show with a guy named Scott family as well, that that have had an especially hard time recently. Roxy lost her brother, and my dear student Benton Cockrell lost his very young brother, 31 or 32 years old. He found him this week in bed, and so we have a funeral to attend this week, and we're taking class off. I sent that word out, Ken. I don't know if you saw that we're not having a Tuesday day class so that people can attend the funeral if they wish. I wrote down something because I didn't want to interrupt you, and that's one of the things I do during our show is I'll write down so that I don't forget, and I can be respectful and at the same time not do it at the expense of losing my own thought. And I just wanted to throw this out there before we wrap it up tonight.
Yeah.
And that is, what is holding you hostage? What is holding you hostage? Well, the answer is always you. It's always you. But what I'm saying is, what are you allowing? So let me be more specific now. What are you allowing in your life to hold you as a hostage? What are you allowing to hold you as a hostage? And so I want to give you a huge example, and I'm going to accept my level of risk in saying this, okay? I didn't tell you I was going to say this. But there would be people that would say, you're involved in the film and TV world, stay off of an internet talk show. Just stay away. Well, that's fear-based. And if I were to ever have to contractually, I would understand that those are the terms. That's what it is. However, I don't have such a contract. And then there are understood policies that people live by. But I want to tell you how strong my faith actually is, not just my spoken faith, the real deal. So here's how I feel. I don't live my life from fear, period. Never have, never will. And here's why I refuse to do it. Because I have actual faith. And if someone, for example, said that, well, you and Ken talk about the subject of God and spirituality and religion and love often on your show. Well, the answer is yes, we do. What's your point? Yes, we do. Because if you're about to challenge me, good luck with that. Because we're not ashamed of it. Not even slightly. We're very confident of it. Pleased that we both have those kinds of hearts. Am I speaking the truth, Ken? We have those kinds of hearts. Our hearts are aligned in that matter. And I believe in a God that is big enough that if there were any penalties placed upon me for speaking my truth or consequences that I might inherit, I actually believe in the enormity of God, and that enormity would override any man-made or man-imposed penalty. Therefore, I shall not fear. There is no penalty I'm worried about because I understand that an override will be created, that's the power of the very force which designed you and me. That's the power of it. So I don't worry, well, if I do that, then, this shoe could fall and that could go wrong and that company might drop me and so be it, whatever it is, because otherwise I am its hostage. This is what I'm saying, Ken. If I have to walk around on eggshells in my life in order to make sure that everybody's happy with Glenn, we're very pleased with Glenn. Why? Because, well, he just never offends us. He just never expresses his opinion. He sits quietly off in a corner and he keeps his mouth shut. He minds his own business. He doesn't seem to have any policies. He doesn't seem to have anything he stands for. He doesn't have any boundaries. Dr. Martin Luther King said that when we witness an injustice and say nothing about it, we're a part of the injustice. That we're a part of it by not saying anything about it. So I think we do, or I'll speak for myself. I owe it to myself and to this world to offer the tenderness that lives in my heart, to offer it up, to invite others to see if they want to play ball in that same arena. In other words, would you like to also open your heart and join me in this experience of revealing who it is we actually are versus masquerading around, hiding behind facades, smoke and mirrors, and so forth? I think that while The Wizard of Oz was a brilliant film, I think it had some very elevated spiritual messages that a lot of people never witnessed, and none more so than the very end of the movie when Dorothy and Toto are right there waiting to connect with the wizard. And Toto sees that there is activity going on behind the curtain, literally behind the curtain. What a metaphor. And he grabs the curtain and pulls it back, only to reveal that the great and powerful Oz was merely a scared old man.
Wee little guy.
It's a little bitty old fart
Yeah.
that had a control panel and so what we realize is that metaphorically, what we were being taught in that film is what it means to live behind a facade.
Yeah.
That's not who Oz was at all. That Oz was a man, a simple man, and that the fire and the smoke and the big booming voice was all something we could either choose to buy into and be intimidated by it, afraid of it, have it lower our self-esteem, and be shaky because it dared to get angry at us. And it's interesting. So I'm asking
you do that well, by the way. You should consider television or film someday.
I may go into acting as a career, but I am actually concerned about this, Ken, because so many people, and especially I think the worst, are the ones who haven't even identified. There is a good chance that you may very well tonight be in the middle of being held hostage, and you're not a victim. It's self-imposed, but by allowing yourself circumstantially to be held hostage by a circumstance, could be by a job, could be in a relationship, could be by your concern of society's opinion of you. And because of it, here's the bottom line. Let me bottom line it. You're not free. And I'll promise you, if you're not free, there's no way you're going to be operating at optimum capacity. If you're not free, there's no way you're going to be at maximum health.
Nope.
If you're not free, there's no way you're going to be at radiant joy, maximum happiness, maximum power, maximum efficiency. All of those are truly birthed when we become liberated and we give ourselves the gift of freedom.
Yeah.
By realizing, I mean, how many people could you speak your truth to? Whatever your truth is. How many people, if they knew the full you, there, I'm really going to put folks on the spot. If they knew the full you, would walk out, they'd leave your life.
Yep.
I think it's worth taking the challenge because your fear that might occur is keeping you in bondage. I want to say that again. Your fear that might occur, that so-and-so might leave me, and we've had all these years and all that. Yeah, well, let's clarify. Let's review the game film, Ken. They haven't left you because you've been inauthentic. They haven't left you because you, for their sake and for the relationship's sake, have altered who it is you know yourself to be. So you're the one who's catching the brunt of it. You're the one who's changing your version of the story. You're the one who's always having to hit the edit switch so that they don't dare really get to meet who it is you are. And then you live your whole life that way and you die and you realize you paid a visit to the world and people never got to actually meet who it is you were. Maybe one or two. And then God forbid you should have some minister get up and say words about someone they never met. One of my top 5 pet peeves, Ken. One of my top 5 is when people perform a service for someone they never knew. Oh my God. And we are so quick as families, not me, not my family. We don't do it that way. But so many families are quick to just hire whatever available minister is there or rabbi or whatever. And it's almost as though the family needs to be convinced that they have been shoehorned into heaven, right? Instead of getting people to get up and speak about the person they knew and what they were like. And this is fresh on my mind because we've had so much loss recently in our family. Our family. Thank you for letting me complete that thought. But
I would like to make a pact with you on air.
Okay. I have a feeling I know what it's going to be.
If you go before me,
yes.
I'm going to speak at your service. And if I go before you, I'd like you to speak at my service.
Typically, that's a more privatized agreement, but I'll make that agreement with
you. You said typically.
Typically, you don't mention this for the first time on a live show, but anyone who sees this will go, you know what? Those dudes really do love each other.
Dude, and this is the way I'm going to start my speech, just so you know.
Oh,
and
cool. Wait a minute. Let me help you here. Let me give you another one of these. Here's another 100. That's for in advance. If I go before you, then here's $100 for speaking.
Thanks. Okay. I got it. Thank you.
All right, now you can hand it back to me and pay me for speaking at your
here's how I'm going to start.
Wait, Ken. Give me $100 for speaking at your service. We pay it back.
Here, dude. Ready?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, and I love that you just gave it to me folded up too. That was
no problem, dude.
Magic trick. That's cool.
So here's how I'm going to start.
We lost half our audience. Went, guys, that's creepy. What are you doing?
This is how I'm going to do it, man. I'm going to say, I can't believe that we're all here on this day.
God, this is.
And I'm going to say, this is bullshit. That's what I'm going to say. This is bullshit. I didn't want to have to do this. Damn you, Glenn.
You know, this would be the worst week in the world for either one of us to croak.
I know.
I mean, you're really blowing it by doing this. So we
have you on me, Ricky Bobby.
You know, what's funny is by you doing this, we both have to vow to be here at least another 30 years. Right. Otherwise, this night starts getting increasingly creepy.
Right. Greg says, and if you both
Greg will speak, we both go at the same time. Well, God willing, if we both go at the same time, it'll be during one of our live feeds.
Right. Yeah.
It'll be together and we both go adios.
Oh, Lord.
But no, I mean, we certainly would want to have people speak for us that really did have a sense of who it is we are. Yeah. And not people who merely bought into the facade that was presented.
Yep.
So I'm asking for some ones here, I guess. Drop some ones. If any of this that we're talking about makes sense, are you living authentically? Do people really know who it is you are? Are you having to sacrifice your truth in order to keep someone else comfortable? Are you constantly editing who it is you are? Do people love you, warts and all? One of my favorite expressions.
Yeah.
Rebecca says, I wear my heart on my sleeve and some people can't take it and don't want to know me. Do not talk about me at my funeral if you did not know me. I think that's a fair request.
You know what I can't stand is like,
let me guess, a two-legged stool.
Those drive me out of my mind. It's walking past someone's casket and going, they look so natural.
My friend Ron Schock had something to say about this. He said, man, I was in Amarillo. I was at one of my buddy's funerals. He said, I stood over him and this guy next to him, he said, you know, he looks good. And he said, I turned to him and said, no, he don't. His lips are stitched shut. Oh my God. That's what he told me.
Oh my God.
No, he don't.
Oh, My grandma and grandpa used to argue about this. That my grandpa said, if I go before you do not have an open casket funeral for me, and I mean it. And she'd say, well, I'm gonna have one, and we're gonna have everybody line up and walk by. And he goes, and I'll tell you what's gonna happen, woman. He did. He go, I'll sit straight up in that casket and say, you morbid sons of bitches.
Hey, Ken, how did we move from the spiritually themed message of the Wizard of Oz to discussions of you agreeing to speak at my funeral or me speaking at yours or sitting up in your casket?
Because, dude,
what is going on in your head tonight that was the transition?
That's life, though.
It is life. I agree.
Need to. I think, in my book, I wrote a story about Gary, and Gary was a dear friend of mine that was unbelievably accomplished in life. And when he got sober, he got extreme, man. This guy was the president of a medical association and had to go speak in front of Congress one time. And this was the most eccentric man I've ever known in my life. Gary dressed up in all, like, literally going to speak in Washington to Congress. He dressed in all white, like all white. His shoes, his socks were white. I'm sure his underwear were white. His pants were white. He had a white overcoat. He had a white vest. He had a white bow tie. He had a white top hat and a white cane. And that is how he spoke to Congress. He said that his higher power, because he said, I can't believe in all this organized religion stuff, so I pick Harvey, the 6 foot 2.5 inch invisible rabbit from the movie Harvey. He said that's my higher power, and he literally would say thank you, Harvey, in his prayers. He was unbelievably funny. But he, whenever you walked up to Gary, he would say, and you said, Gary, how you doing today? He'd say, you know what, Glenn, I'm having the best day of my life. And not only that, I get to be here talking with you right now. And in this moment, I can't think of anything better than that. How are you doing? And that was his standard answer for every single person that he came in contact with.
Beautiful.
And it is beautiful. And so Gary got cancer, and he ended up in the Ohio State University Cancer Hospital, brand new facility when he was in there. And a friend of mine, his mother was Gary's nurse, one of the nurses. And she walked in and she says, hey, Gary, how you doing? And he mustered up as much energy as he could. And he said, you know what? I'm having the best day of my life. And not only that, I get to be in this beautiful new hospital with all you wonderful nurses and doctors here taking care of me. And I just can't think of anything better than that. And Gary died 1 hour later. And Gary didn't have a funeral. He had it written out that he had to have a celebration of life event. And he had it planned out. And everybody that showed up got a button they had to put on. He didn't want any crying at his funeral. He wanted people there celebrating his life. Thousands and thousands of people showed up at his funeral, his celebration of life. Everybody got a button that had a white rabbit, big white rabbit on it, and it said, I'm having the best day of my life. Every single person. I think that people take life way too freaking serious. I think people take it way too serious. And Gary is one of those unbelievable spiritual people that was put in my path and in my life for quite a while, that, man, he had a different view on life. I mean, he had a different view. And I wish the whole world would grasp a hold of that and go, man, stop taking all this shit so serious.
So what would you advise? That's what you would say, stop doing. What would you advise to people to start doing?
Start writing out who you really are. Start writing. Like, people are like, oh, positive affirmations, that's woo-woo, foo-foo, blah, blah, blah. Okay, how many times have you tried it? Because I can tell you by your attitude, you haven't ever probably tried it. But
Right.
like, I can tell that, how about this? Get out a piece of paper and start writing down some wonderful things about yourself. How about you look at your accomplishments, not arrogantly, but from a place of look at what God has given you. Look and thanking God and thanking people in your life for what's being done for you while you're here. Why don't you try that? Write this shit down every day for a while, and then come back to me 30 days from now and tell me how freaking miserable your life is. Once you start taking action and you do the actual freaking work of reprogramming your unconscious mind, and you stop with the bullshit, whiny, I'm going to blame everything and everybody and God and Glenn and Ken and this stupid show that we're watching right now and blah, 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 and everything else. When you start taking responsibility for your life and get a freaking piece of paper out and get a pen out and start writing the shit down that's good about you. Start there. Start
You
there.
notice I've leaned back, brother.
I did.
I leaned back because my brother Ken's on a roll, and I love being your audience when you get this way.
Dude,
Tell us more, bro. Tell us more. You're absolutely right.
I think that, I used to, when I first got sober, man, the first few years I was really hard on myself. And finally one day my sponsor says, dude, put the effing ball bat down now. I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, stop beating the shit out of yourself. I'm tired of it. Stop. You've been forgiven. Now move on. And I think that we all do that, man. We sit and we go over and over. We play the tape over and 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 over. And it's the same damn tape. And here's the worst part of it. Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about it. He says that, we have 60 to 80,000 thoughts per day on average, that 90% of those thoughts are the same exact thoughts we had yesterday. And that out of all of those thoughts, 50% of them we're making up. We're making them up. What are you talking about, Ken? I'm not a liar. Yes, you are. You're making shit up. The human mind naturally embellishes things. You stub your toe in the morning on the nightstand or whatever, and then you're at work later telling everybody, yeah, I broke my toe this morning. I think it still hurts. And dude, you didn't break your toe. You freaking stubbed it. There's a huge difference. But we all do these things. And that's just one example. Somebody cut me off on the interstate and almost killed me. Almost killed you? Like, you're here, dude. Nobody almost killed you. What's almost pregnant? Like people are beating the crap out of themselves over stuff that they've done. I've done horrific things that I am not proud of, but guess what? I've been forgiven, man. There's grace. Where that grace comes from, I can't define it. I don't. Jesus hasn't showed up to me. Buddha hasn't appeared and said, dude, you're forgiven. Nobody has, but I feel it because my actions became different. I took responsibility for my life, and I started what I just said. I started writing down affirmations. I wrote out multiple times as the layers of the onion continue to get peeled back. I'm writing out stuff I've done wrong. And then I did ceremonial things like taking that piece of paper and lighting it on fire and burning it and saying a prayer, asking God to forgive me, forgive the people that hurt me, and let's move on with our lives.
Well, when you burn it, bud, and I know you know this, I don't feel like I'm telling you anything you don't know, but for those of your disciples who follow your advice to burn it, here's the deal. When you burn it, you also have to burn it with your mind.
Yes.
You can't just physically burn it. In other words, don't physically burn it if you're not going to burn it.
Right.
Right. So the burning shouldn't be the deal. It should be the symbolizing of the deal. The real fire that burns it has got to be within, where you have burned it in your mind too. Otherwise, it's just a little ritualistic crap that you went through where you went, I'll do some showmanship
right.
here, and I'll light it on fire.
Yeah,
but you know I'm done with it. Well, are you done with it or not? If you are, then burn this shit.
But that
was my pastor's sermon scheduled for tomorrow morning. Burn the shit. I just drove by the church earlier today and saw it on the billboard, which is they're doing a 9:30 and 11:30 a.m. service.
What's up, Scott? How you doing, man?
Hey, Scott.
look, it's just like I couldn't get sober by my own power. I can't forgive myself or be forgiven or forgive others by myself. There has to be an external, a power greater than me. I say external, it's not external, it's everywhere. It's internal, it's everywhere. And that's what I choose to call God. And when I said, burn it and say a prayer. The most important part is, and say a prayer, because you could hang on to that piece of paper. You don't have to burn it. That's just some ceremonial thing, right? It's the prayer part after you've done all of the work, after you've done all written. Like I said earlier, we're only as sick as our secrets. So any secrets, you write those puppies down. This happened. I did this. This happened to me. Whatever it is, I don't care what it is. Confess it to God, man. I'm not Catholic. I know nothing really about the Catholic religion. But I do know that they have a confessional thing, and you're absolved of your sins. Do you know the word sin, the original Aramaic version of the word sin?
Yeah, to miss the mark.
Miss the mark. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. I missed the mark. What's the mark? Wayne Dyer talked about this, right? What's the mark? It's to have a closer relationship with my higher power, with God, whatever you call it. That's the mark. So if that's the mark, and I did something.
Well, that and being a Steelers fan, I think both are definitions of sin.
No,
am I wrong?
No, that's the mark. You have to be a Steelers fan if you want to get into heaven. So, but no, man.
I pray to God and Terry Bradshaw.
Right. Ben Roethlisberger. But anyway, so no, I think that again, dude, I love this kind of stuff. This is what I live my life for. I help a lot of people with this, and you know that, man. I mean, it's
isn't it clear abundantly that this is why we've come together?
It is.
I mean, the primary reason that we've come together is not only to enjoy each other, but to put our lined hearts out there into the world as brothers. We are brothers. And we go on the air and admit our own brotherhood weekly.
We do.
Weekly, we stand up before the world and admit our brotherhood. And then we invite others to step into their closest brotherhood, beginning with the brotherhood between them and themselves.
Yep. Scott says, burn it, because change your stance and change your world. Doesn't mean damage you've done isn't real, and you have to start by asking what it takes to heal and how you can
execute repair or not for past mess ups. Yes.
Yeah. And we talked about that.
We covered that about an hour ago. Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's very important. It's the most important part of having a joyful and free life, is being free of the crap.
I think another thing, Ken, just random thought about this, is I also think it's helpful to change the scenery. And what I mean is, if you look at the scenery of your life, is it a constant reminder of who you used to be that you're not proud of?
Right.
Or is it a constant reminder of who it is you are that you love?
Yep.
Who it is you are that you love. I happen to even love versions of me that I wasn't proud of. I don't think it's an either or scenario. I think that you can love that which at some point you've had issues with. You can look over, and especially as you get older in life, you can look back at a younger you who has made some choices that this version of you would never make. And you look and you go, hey, Glenn, I get it. I get it.
Right.
And I love you. Are you clear? Do you hear me? I love you. And then all of a sudden, younger Glenn looks up and goes, thanks for letting me know that it's going to be okay. Thanks. And I'm not doing that as a bit. I sincerely mean that, is to look at the younger version of you. And periodically, I tap in, as I've openly discussed with you and our audience, with my death day self, and hear him saying, you got this, baby. And you're giving me the life that I will need at the end of the road. You are building that for me. So therefore, you and I, we got to be buds. We got to work together on this thing. And so I do. I've never done anything in my life alone, ever. I've always felt God's hand up under me. I love that old song, He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole wide world. And I think we either believe that or we don't. And I'm one who believes that. So that means that I am being cradled by the hand of God at all times, as is every circumstance. And I do feel it. What is this? I behave differently, but my want to help others has never changed. Yes, your ability to has and hopefully will. Good point. Thank you, Scott. Thank you much.
Dude, I told you I couldn't go to
Well, we did it, and now it's time for you to go to bed. Random thought, mango is just a great fruit. It's just a random thought, and it makes really cool ice cream treats. I have fallen in love with these shaved ice mango dishes. And today I ate a mango popsicle. Now, I'm not saying turn it into a career choice, but every so often, especially during the heat of the summer, treat yourself to a little mango popsicle or a mango shaved ice, and you'll go, that's good, man.
Why don't you share with the world? Thank you, Jeff. That's very nice.
Appreciate it, bud.
Why don't you share with everybody what I got you to try a couple weeks ago and is one of your new addictions?
Oh. I'm puzzled. You got me to try
lemon.
Kindness. I think you got me to try kindness as a way of. Oh, that's true. Yes, Ken did. I remembered now. So I phoned Ken. We talk several times a week.
Yeah.
We don't only talk on the air. And I phoned him and I said, "Hey," he goes, "Dude." I said, "Hey, dude." He goes, "What's up?" I said, "I'm in the line at Chick-fil-A." And he goes, "Really? Have you ever tried their lemon shake?" Is that what it's called? Lemon shake?
Frosted lemon.
Frosted lemon thing. And I said, "No, I always get the lemonade." So we got the lemon part, but no, I don't know anything about this.
You said, "Ooh, that doesn't sound."
Well, it didn't strike me as a must-have, but if my buddy Ken says do it, I'm going to do it, and so I did. And I'll just say that it was. I'm going to go ahead and call it It's tied for the greatest decision of my life. The greatest decision of my life was to marry Carolyn, and the next one was to try that shake that day. And it is so good. And you get that, and you get your little Chick-fil-A sandwich going, and lime frosted. Yeah, but it's not lime; it's lemon. But it tastes. You're right, Scott. It doesn't taste like lemon. I'll tell you what it tastes like. It tastes like if you converted key lime pie into a shake. That's what it tastes like. And I'm such a fan of key lime pie that Ken just gave me the greatest thing I'll ever taste in my life. And so my taste buds were having an orgasm, and I'm going, Ken Walls knows what he's talking about.
Dude, we were on the phone still. You and Carolyn were in the car.
I tasted it, and I went,
good and I was like, "Oh God, what else did you get to drink?" And you said, "No, that's it. We both got the same exact thing." And I said, "Dude, no, you're supposed to get a little one and like your regular drink, because what if you don't like it?"
So I'm encouraging all of you, whatever you're dealing with, whatever hardship, whatever celebration, wherever you are emotionally and spiritually and mentally tonight, come first thing tomorrow. Well, maybe not breakfast time, but at lunch, if you're still dealing with something, just go have one of these shakes. And I'm telling you, it will fix your entire life. If you're lost, these shakes will bring clarity to you as they generate an orgasmic sensation on your taste buds. And you're going, man, I've been struggling with that for years, and there's no more struggle. That's how excited I am. I think I should do their commercials. I really do.
Oh, that's so funny. Dude, I had a whipped pineapple tonight.
Yes.
I had 2 sips of it, and then my daughter stole it from me. So it's so good. It's so good. But anyway, hey, thank you.
We'll see everybody tomorrow.
Yeah, we will be on tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
With
5 p.m. Pacific, with the Ken and Glenn show with a guy named Scott McCain, our buddy, our pal, our partner,
our cohort. He'll be here with us in crime tomorrow night. And hey, what did you guys think? We're going to show it to you one more time. Ken cut together actually our dear friend in the Philippines.
Yes,
we have an editor and a sweetheart friend, worker, employee of Ken's, who created this for us, and it's beautiful.
Thank you. Look, Curtis is still on here. Greg, Scott, Sandy, Gabby. Wow.
Hey, Greggy, after the show tomorrow night, I'll be tuning into the Cowboy game with you, bud. So,
all right. Thank you, guys.
Take us out with the video, buddy?
Yes. Appreciate all the shares, the laugh, the love, everything. Y'all have a great night.
Blessings, Ken.
Hey, blessings right back to you, brother.
I'm grateful for you, man.
Likewise, dude. Give me my 100 back.
There you go. Hold on. You ready?
No, I'm not ready.
Here's your 100 back.
Dude, never mind. No, I don't need it. I don't need it. I'm good. I don't. Oh, geez.
All right. Hey, Wendy, our arms are wrapped around you, my dear.
I just dropped.
We feel you. We feel the pain that you're dealing with, and we all get our turn in the barrel, don't we, my love? We all get our turn in the barrel. And the idea is to just know that we're not alone when we do.
That's right.
See you guys. Have a good night.